Okay, so we left off yesterday. We've been in sugya since the beginning of the Masechta about Prisha. What do you know? 7 days. The Kohen Gadol is 7 days separated. We learned Rabbi Yochanan learned from the Miluyim. In fact, Rabbi Yochanan B'Shem and Rabbi Shmuel learned not only Miluyim, not from the Miluyim of Yom Kippur. He also learned the Prisha of the Parah also was from Yom Kippur, right? So Rabbi Shlakish asked him a kasha. Rabbi Shlakish asked him, listen, if you're going to learn from the Miluyim. So just like the Miluyim, any part of the Miluyim, which basically we'll see tomorrow's share, is Ma'akev, meaning if you do it to avoid this puzzle, then also by over here by Yom Kippur, any aspect that you're missing also it's a puzzle. And we know it's not true because the second Kohen, they don't separate. So if you need every aspect, you need to separate everybody, right? So by not separating the second one, you see that it's not Ma'akev, right? Memela, so it's Reish Lakish had a bomb kasha. Ad kedei kach that Rabbi Yochanan said to him, Mar, the Rebbe, where do you know from? And that's where we're up to. He's going to learn from Sinai. So here's the pasuk. The pasuk is in Shmos Chaf Daled. At the end of Shmos of Mishpatim, it says Vayal Moshe el Hahar, right? Pasuk Tesvav. Vayal Moshe el Hahar, Vayichas Onan es Hahar. Moshe ascended the mountain, and the Onan covered the mountain. Vayishkon covered Hashem al Hasinai, and the covered Hashem it rested upon Sinai. Vayichaseu Onan sheishes yamim, and the Onan covered it for 6 days. Vayikra Moshe b'yom hashvi, and he called to Moshe in the 7th day, mitoich Onan, from mitoich Onan. Mashma according to this limud, Moshe separated from Klal Yisrael. He went up on a mountain, and he was covered with a cloud, and that was 6 days of Prisha. And then the 7th day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him to ascend. So Pashtus, the Gemara said, yes. So it's only mashma to meet the Shechina in these 6 days, not 7 days. Right? So you can say that they added a day because of a possibility of Tumah. That's going to be the limud for Reish Lakish, that this pasuk by Sinai, it says 6 days, and we're going to add one more day. And just like Moshe was Pirish before he met the Shechina, who I think the Kohen Gadol is Pirish before what he meets the Shechina, Kaviyach, right? He's going to go into the light of Nile of Nim. That's Reish Lakish's source. Along the way this evening, we're going to learn exactly what happened by Har Sinai. About Matan Torah. What was Matan Torah? When you learn to get to Torah, what exactly happened? You know, things that you never think about, you're going to think about. So it's very interesting, share, in my humble opinion. Although I give it over now, that's another thing. But my humble the interest is there. Shabbos. Okay, says the Gemara. So Elamar, we have 4 lines up on test on Gimel Amid Beis, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines from the bottom. Elamar mehecha yalafla. Where do you learn it from? Where do you Reish Lakish learn out Prisha from? So Amami Sinai. He says, I learn it out from Sinai. Dichsiv vayishkoin covered Hashem alahar, and the covered Hashem rested upon the mountain. Vayichaseu onan, and it covered it, the onan. This it's going to be a big subject of machlokes. Does it mean it covered him, Moshe, or does it cover it, the mountain? Is the covering going on? You could touch it one of 2 ways, guys. You can say vayichasehu, and it covered, and the Anon covered him, Moshe, or vayichasehu, the Anon covered the mountain. And there's going to be a machlokes tanoim between Rabbi Yisrael Lili and Rabbi Kiva exactly how we do that. Vayichasehu Anon sheishes yamim, vayikra Moshe b'yom hashvi, called to Moshe on the 7th day. Michte ksiv, vayikra Moshe b'yom hashvi. My sheishes yamim. Now, guys, if I would say, and he called to him on the 7th day, obviously there must have been 6 days before. What's the number 7? Right? What's the number? Why do you have to tell me he separated for 6 days and he's called him the 7th day? If you say he called him the 7th day, I know there were 6 days before that. So Zeb Binyanav, Shekola Nichnis b'machne Shechina, anyone who's nichnis into the machne Shechina, Tayin Prisha Shisa. You need 6 days wad of separation. You need to go ahead. So just as Moshe separated, so too the Kohen Gadol. Say the Gemara, the obvious question. Banan Shiva Tanan, we learned 7, right? We didn't learn 6, we learned 7. Someone says, "No, Mastisan, our Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseirahi. Our Mishnah is according to the great Tana Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. L'tumas beisai, right? What is l'tumas beisai? What does Rashi say? She'im yizakek le'ishtoi, if he'll need to be with his wife, v'tira dam b'shas bia, and the time of shas tashmish, the woman sees dam, v'nimsa tamei shivas yamin. Halacha, guys, the halacha is a boil nida is tamei 7 days. Just as a nida is for 7 days, someone's boil and nida is tamei 7 days. So we're going to add on. It doesn't mean we're learning it all from nida. It means why did they add after 6 one more day to take into account this possibility? Once we're separating him, let's take into account we're separating him for 6 days. Take into account the possibility of I'll be with his wife. Therefore, make it 7 days. Like the law of someone who's boil nida, he won't be able to do on Yom Kippur. So that's the source word of Reish Lakish. So we have machlekes. Like Rabbi Yochanan, the source is Miluyim. Like Reish Lakish, the source is Sinai. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan, Reish Lakish, Bishleim Melididi, says Rabbi Yochanan, who says Miluyim. Reish Lakish says Sinai. Bishleim Melididi, Bishleim, according to me, it says Miluyim. The Afinim and Miluyim. Hainu Detanya, Zeh, both the Koyin Gadol on Yom Kippur, Vizeh and the Koyin Asayif Es HaPara, Mazin Allah of Kol Shiva. You're going to sprinkle upon him 7 days. Right, Mikol Chatoyes Shahayu Sham, from all the paradumas that there were there, the Havinami Hazah b'Miluyim, because there was Hazah by Miluyim. Look at this fascinating Rashi, guys. Mikol Chatoyes Shahayu Sham, 4 lines down. Mikol Paru Para, from every paraduma that had been burnt and the ashes that had been collated. Hayanosnim Kitsas, they put a little bit on him. Lemishmeres as a watchings. Mina Efer b'Cheil. There was in the Cheil was a place outside the base of Migdash, and they had there a collection of all the paradumas. Kashin Masech the para says Rashi Vanisha Mati Efer Parashal Moshe Loikila. Moshe Rabbeinu's paraduma that he made. Moshe Rabbeinu Loikila. It wasn't. I tell you something very fascinating. I just thought of it. We find what Moshe Rabbeinu did is like Chaim Loilam. Moshe Rabbeinu made the Shemin HaMishcha. What do we see in Shkalim, guys? They used it extensively, and what? It wasn't used up at all, right? Used up extensively, it wasn't used up at all. Moshe made the Mishkan, guys. Moshe set the Krushim. Guess what? They're not used up. Moshe Rabbeinu would have went into Eretz Yisrael. It said that Moshe went into Eretz Yisrael. There wouldn't be Shikha. We wouldn't forget. Moshe Rabbeinu is Chai V'Kayim Loilam. This Moshe Rabbeinu is the Navi. He's the ultimate Navi. He's everything. So I think perhaps that's Pshat over here. Moshe Rabbeinu made the Sefer. Can't be used up. It's like, so therefore there's a little bit left over. It's a chiddush that I just thought about now. I'm not sure if it's true, but it sounds good, right? Again, I don't know, but it's a key and it makes sense. Moshe emes v'seirasei emes. Emes is always, it's eternal. It's always there. So Ken Zayin, that's pshat over here. Like Moshe made it, there, it's going to stay. Okay, anyway, so that's what they would do. They would go ahead and sprinkle on the part on the kohen. Now, why are they doing that? Bishlei mug, if you go like Rabbi Yochanan, that it's the Miluyim. By the Miluyim, they sprinkle blood on Aaron and his sons for 7 days. So just over there, they sprinkle blood. Over here, they're sprinkling ash water of Paraduma. But if you're going to learn from Sinai, what kind of sprinkling was there by Sinai? There was no sprinkling by Sinai. So what's the connection? Like Reish Lakish. That's the kasha that Rabbi Yochanan is asking Reish Lakish. I don't understand. Why do they sprinkle according to you? Bishlei Milumi, it makes sense. Let's continue inside. According to you, the Yalfis Sinai that you learned from Sinai. Hazah b'Sinai mehave? Was there any hazah? Was there any sprinkling by Sinai? So what did Reish Lakish do? Instead of what do you do if guys ask you a question, you know the answer? You ask him another question, right? Yeah. My son he went for a bechina in Philadelphia Yeshiva. So he can imagine he's a kid. He's 14 years old and he's facing Rabbi Eliezer Tzal and Rav Shmuel. So he asked him a question. I said, "How did it go?" He goes, "Okay." So what? They asked you a question. He goes, "Do you know the answer?" No. So I said, "What do you do?" He goes, I asked them a question. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, Elidafi of Sinai Hazab is Sinai Mihava. Was there any Hazab from Sinai? Samaleil Taimech Mi Nicha Bimiluyim Dam Hachamayim. What's your tushtel? Why the Miluyim? Why do they sprinkle? They sprinkled blood on them. And what are they sprinkling by Sinai? Water. You said they sprinkle by not Sinai by Miluyim. They sprinkle water. Says Mahalei Kasha, that's not shver. The Tani Reb Chia, nichnesu mayim tachas tam. The mayim is going in and taking the place of blood. Big Yisrael and Taisus, guys. Nichnesu mayim tachas tam. The lav legamri drasha gemura. This is not a drasha gemura. In other words, Miluyim is not a drasha gemura. Had the gamri Miluyim. Ela smachta ba'alma. It's not smachta. In other words, you might like Taisus. I said the other day. you could possibly think that the limud from Sinai is the Araisa, that you have to separate is the Araisa. But if it's the Araisa and Chayra, then why don't you separate the second Kohen, right? So it really is not a What is it? A smachta. Meaning, what's an asmachta? The Chacham came up with a din, and they found in the Torah and placed a smachta to be somech, to find support for it. But it's the Rabbanan. So it's not that the pasuk created the din of 7 days. They had the din of 7 days. They wanted to separate for 7 days. Ken Zayin because of Nida. Ken Zayin because of Thomas Mace. The number 7 you find by two Tumas. You find it by Nida, you find it by Mace. It's 7 days. So to go ahead and prevent any possible Tumah that he wouldn't be ready in time to do the Avaida, we separate him for 7 days. Makes a lot of sense, right? Where they come with and guess what? Lo and behold, Miluyim, I found a place to go ahead and be Slemich in it. And that's the pshat over here. So therefore, once it's in a smachta, mali dam, mali mayim, it's close enough. You spritz. So you're spritzing a different liquid, machta shlois. That's the chayr that's the Gemara is saying. It doesn't make a difference. Eladidah chazos b'sina meyavev. Amalei ma'ila ba'alma. And so you know what he said? You're right. It's an asmachta, the spritzing. It's just a ma'ila ba'alma. That they spritzed paradum on him is only a ma'ila ba'alma. It's only a ma'ila. It's nothing. It's not something that makes it bad. But it's not something that's crucial. It's not something that's necessary. It's ma'ila ba'alma. Okay, so now by paraduma, what's the ma'ila, guys? Why do you need to make a chumrah by paraduma? Because of the kula of being metama. What's the question? We need a ma'ila by Yom Kippur. We need a ma'ila by Yom Kippur. Well, by Yom Kippur it says l'chavit knisas machnas shchina. And since he's going to go into the machnas shchina, we want him squeaky, spiritually clean, so we spritz paraduma on him for 7 days. But not that it's inherently part of that, a limit from the pasuk. So right now, he held serve, right? Let's get two sources. One, Rabbi Yochanan learns from Miluyim, and that's his source, and Reish Lakish's source is Sinai. Tanya Kavasid Rabbi Yochanan, Tanya Kavasid Reish Lakish. We have a brisa that's a raya to Rabbi Yochanan. We have a brisa that's a raya to Reish Lakish. Okay, Tanya Kavasid the Rabbi Yochanan. Guys, very long-winded brisa. All we want to hear from this brisa is what? That the source for Zion, Prisha of Zion, is the Miluyim. Good? Is the Miluyim. Tanya Kavasid Rabbi Yochanan. Bezois Yavai Aaron Kodesh. In this way, Aaron should come into the Kodesh. Bezois. What does that mean? B'mashama b'inyan. Whatever it says in the inyan. Ma'ya inyan. What inyan are we speaking about? The Miluyim. In other words, bezois, whatever took place in the Miluyim should be the preparatory step for Aaron going in on the Avodah Yom Kippur. Bezois, in this way, when he goes ahead, and whatever he did by the Miluyim, that's how he should come in. What does it say by the Miluyim? Aaron Pirisheva, B'Shima Shem Echad. Aaron separated for 7 days, and he served 1 day. Moshe Masalai Kol Shiva, and Moshe went ahead, and Moshe was the Kohen Gadol for 7 days. Moshe went ahead and taught him by the Avodah. So therefore, what do we have? Aaron separating. Aaron separating. We have a 1 day serving. We have Moshe taking care of him. What happened in the future? Kohen Gadol Poirish Shiva. Kohen Gadol would separate what for 7 days. Umishamish Yom Echad. He would go ahead and be mishamish 1 day. Ushnei Talmidei Chachamim miTalmidav Shel Moshe lafuk et tzedaiker Moshe like Kol Shiva k'dei lechanchei ba'avodah. Mikanam u'shivas yomim k'aydim Yom Kippur mafrishin Kohen Gadol mebeisai lishus fanhedrin right uk'shem mafrishin Kohen Gadol kach mafrishin Kohen HaServis Apara. Okay, we'll see this in a second. Okay, let's go back over this part, guys. Look at me. So we are a great sushtel, right? This is Tanya Kabase according to Rabbi Yochanan, who learns from Miluyim. Miluyim, Aaron served 1 day, Yom Kippur 1 day. Aaron separated by Miluyim 7 days, and here's Alimud by Yom Kippur 7 days. Moshe taught Aaron what to do. Here we have 2 Talmidei Chachamim telling him what to do. Okay, we're going to see this in the Mishnah in the future, but let's just tell Zechron now a little bit. The second bias, the Kohen Gedolah was very much a political position. We have Marsa Bat Basbesis buying for her husband Yeshua ben Karach the Kohen Gadol. I think she bought it for him. I think she bought it. You could buy it. So you had people who were unfit. As a matter of fact, you know how many Kohen Gedolim died? Every year they died. I don't know why. I saw Baal Gaiva, I saw Baal Gaiva. I once heard this crazy statistic. They asked the Olympic champs, one after the other, had you known you would go ahead and die in your 50s by taking steroids, but you wouldn't want the gold medal, would you do it again? They all said yes. I think 88% said yes. 88% said they would do it. It was worth it to them. A gaiva is such a powerful thing. I was wondering, these guys want, okay, anyway, l'chalapakas. The Tzedaikim held the following. The Tzedaikim held not that you put the ketairis on the coals in the fire pan in the Kachei Kedashim. They held you do it outside and you walk in. So in order to avoid this Kohen Gadol for doing like the Tzedaikim, you had Talmidei Chachamim teaching him what to do, and they swore, but before he made us sure that he's not going to do it because no one's there to watch him. No one's there. No one can be there. So this is what they're worried about. So I saw a beautiful shot. So why do you need two? Why do you need two? Right? Why do you need two? Well, you need two. One person can teach him. Why do you need two? Right? Says the Gemara. Says the Tosfos a rush. You need Adis. In case this guy is going to say that, something or other that he didn't know. Oh, this thing, I was never taught. You need two Adis that, guess what? We taught you the right way. And you need two. That's what you needed. Didn't Adis. Okay, so right now you got a good raya. Now, this is very interesting because this Bryce is a raya to Rabbi Yochanan, but Rabbi Yochanan says you do not learn out from the Miluyim, you do not learn out para. Yet, why does the Bryce go ahead and say right now? It brings in para. Says the Gemara the following. Ukeshem shemafishin kohen gadol kach mafishin kohen asoyef es hapara l'lishka shal pnei abira. You would go ahead and put him into the lishka that was on the eastern part of the Beis Hamikdash. Sefoinim Mizrachis, it was in the northeast. The echad zeh, whether it's the kohen gadol on Yom Kippur or the kohen asoyef zapara, mazon love kol shiva. You would sprinkle upon him all 7 days. Mikol chatoy shal yisham, from all the chatas that was there. The miluyim dam hachamayim. What will you say when miluyim was blood? Here it's water. Amin nichsu mayim tachas dam. We'll say the mayim takes place in the dam. Now this is not shver on Rabbi Yochanan because again it doesn't say you learned this from the miluyim. It just says this happens to be the same din by the para, but not that necessarily you learned it from the miluyim. For Omer, a second pasuk. Here's the problem. Kasher asa b'yom hazeh tziva Hashem lasois l'chaper aleichem, and just like what. And by the Miluyim, Hashem mitzvah you to do and to mechaper. So the Ritva says you have to take this out, guys. The Ritva says you have to take this out because this spice is right. Rabbi Yochanan. Remember, Rabbi Yochanan said yesterday, Chada, only one. B'shem Rabbi Yishmael said both. B'shem Rabbi Yishmael said both, but Rabbi Yochanan himself only one, meaning you don't learn that part from the Miluyim. So over here you are learning it out. So the Ritva says you can't be garish this. Okay, now so you got your tiny kabasa. Good. Fred the Gemara. V'hai bezois mi boilik. Guy. Bezois are you have a kodesh, but par ben baka v'ayel oila, right? Par ben baka chatas v'ayel oila, right? You bring that in, yeah. So he's asking. I need the pasuk lugufei. I need a pasuk to teach me the din of karbonis. How can it be to teach me? The connection to miluyim. How can it teach me the connection to miluyim? B'par ben bakal lechatas v'ayel oila. And for the Gemara, Amri ila karban lechude. If the only chiddush that this was coming to tell me is to tell me the karbonis, lema kra. Let the pasuk say the following: Bizeh yaval kodesh, which is lashon of zachar. Oy be'ele. My bezois, why do you use bezois? Shmami natarti bezois. You hear two. You hear both what? You hear the din of Yom Kippur, and you hear the din of what? Of actually the opposite order. You hear the din of para and as a chatas and islas and oila bezois. In addition, you hear the comparison to miluyim. Now the question is, you put in a second pasuk. Why do you need a second pasuk? Why do you have to bring in the pasuk? Yom Kippur kama hu deboy prisha. Only the first Yom Kippur needs prisha. Kida ashlim b'meluyim, like you find in the Miluyim, which is a one-shot deal. I'll be Yom Kippur dalma, but the future Yom Kippurim loy, I'd say only one-shot deal. In ami or else kohen gadol kama. The first kohen gadol who the boy prisha. I'll be kohen gadol alma the future kohen gadolim loy tashma kasher also just like you did by the Miluyim, so too you should do in the future all kohen gadolim and all need prisha. Okay, great. So if you just woke up now, guys, if you're sleeping till now, you can wake up. And what's the answer? We learned out of Brisa that like Rabbi Yochanan of what of Miluyim. Good. Again, top all you have to know, right? Take a dirshu test. Where do you learn from? Boom, that's it. Good. Next. Tiny Kavas is Reish Lakish. We're gonna write a Bryce that's right, Reish Lakish. Moshe Allah ba'anan. Moshe ascended in a cloud. V'niskase ba'anan. He was covered in a cloud. V'niskache ba'anan, and he was sanctified in a cloud. Kedei lekabel Torah Yisrael b'kedusha shnemar, as it says, Vayishkoin kavod Hashem al har Sinai, and the kavod Hashem descended upon Sinai. Zehoyemaisa, guys, listen to this. Zehoyemaisa acha aseres hadibros. This what took place after aseres hadibros. Shahoyu tchila la'arboim yom. Guys, when we say, guys, listen. If I ask you wake you up in the middle of the night, what does it mean? On Vav Sivin we got the Torah. What does that mean? What did we get? What? Why did we get? When did we got this aseres hadibros? What happened?
Luchos, the Luchos.
What?
Hashem gave it over. They gave Moshe Hashem. That the next day he went up to Shemayim.
So what exactly physically did we get on Vav? So basically, you got physically nothing. When Matan Torah was Hashem, 600,000 people over the age of 20 and above, 20 and 50, hearing 10 dibros, right? That's it. That's what you got. These 6 days that we're describing now, says Rabbi Yossi Galili, took place after what? After we received Aseres Hadibros. So according to Rabbi Yossi Galili, guess what happened, guys? We got the Aseres Hadibros on Vav Sivan, on the 6th day of Sivan. Then Moshe was up on the mountain. Moshe was covered with smoke, with the cloud for 6 days. 6 days. That's what it says.
So where's the 40 days?
Okay. That it's okay. We'll get that. The Gemara is going to discuss that. So now, and he went up, and he was covered for 6 days after the Aseres Hadibros. Why was he for 6 days? Those were the 6 days of Prisha. This is the riot to Reish Lakish. Those were 6 days of Prisha. Vayikra Hashem LaMoshe b'yom hashvi, and Hashem called to Moshe on the 7th day and told him to go up to get the physical luchos. And then Moshe came down 40 days later, counting from the 6th day, which was your dying Sam Thomas, and he broke the luchos. That's that. Yankel, hang in. Hang in. So this is according to this, the way you read the pasuk. Again, according to the way you read this pasuk, Vayikra Moshe b'yom hashvi, after the 6 days that Moshe spent covered by the cloud, which constitute Prisha, because he wasn't near anybody. Then on the 7th day, Hashem called him up to go get the physical luchos. So let's see it inside. This Maisa took place after Aseres Hadibros, after Vav, which was the beginning of the 40 days that Moshe spent on Sinai, get like a malach, not eating, not drinking. Rabbi Akiva says no. Rabbi Akiva says, "Vayishkan kavod Hashem me'rosh chodesh, from Rosh Chodesh, from the 6 days, guys, from Rosh Chodesh, vayichaseu onon lahar, and it covered him. It covered what? The mountain. Not Moshe. It covered the mountain. Moshe's busy going up and down, telling the Jews, right? Separate from your wives. Go mountain. Put a thing around the mountain. But Moshe wasn't busy covered. There was no prisha. Moshe was busy doing his shlichus. Separate from your wives. Don't go to the mountain. You'll die if you touch the mountain. Moshe was busy, but he wasn't separate. Separate means he was sitting there and meditating, right? Here he was going. He was busy. So why does it say Vayishkan and he covered? What was covered? The mountain was covered. Vayichaseu, nafkamina, the guy's beautiful. Like Rabbi Yossi Vayichaseu, it covered him, Moshe Rabbeinu. It's after Matan Torah. Moshe finished his shlichus already, right? After Matan Torah, they're already separated from their wives. They're already separated from the mountain. And now Moshe's going ahead. He did his shlichus already. He's sitting on the mountain covered. And then on the 7th day, Hashem calls him up, get the physical luchos. Says Rabbi Akiva, no, the mountain's covered. The mountain's covered for 6 days. Which 6 days? The 6 days leading up to Matan Torah. Then on the 7th day, he says, Moshe, you come up and go get the physical thing. So the nafkamina is exactly what day did Moshe go up? Did Moshe go up on Zion or did Moshe go up on Yud Gimel?
Because he had to separate.
Like Rabbi Yossi Glili, the 6 day separation. So he went up Zion 6 days after that. Okay, so that now you got it, guys. It's geschmack.
Rabbi, according to Rabbi Akiva, it makes sense because all
Klal Yisrael heard Aseres Dibros, not just Moshe. So this makes sense.
Everyone heard it. Even according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, everyone heard it. We're going to get into it now. We're going to discuss that now.
Such a monumental episode in our.
And it's the machlokes. Right. We're Jewish. We're Jewish. Not only that, guys, it's a bigger. There's a machlokes exactly which day Mount Torah was. There's a bigger. Again, later Rabbi Akiva, Mount Torah was in Zion. Rabbi Akiva, Mount Torah was in Zion. Again, it's Pelagic, but again, it's so. It's like a schmack. It's like a schmack. Torah is so a schmack. It's like, what could be better? Someone said, Olam Hazeh. What's Olam Hazeh? So it's not big Olam Hazeh learn Torah. I mean it. I mean the same. You couldn't pay me. I don't want you to pay me to sit here and learn this and be able to give this Daf Gemara, guys. I'm telling you, it's priceless. It really is. It's so geschmack. It's so geschmack. I was sitting learning with a chavit. It's so geschmack.
Why wasn't our pre-ship considered? We had pre-ship.
Let's go. Let's go now. Reb Nassim Aimer. Okay, so Veichasu Onan Lahar Vayikra. It's 9:04. Vayikra El Moshe. Yankel, take all the questions. I don't want to win the flow. Vayikra El Moshe. Now, according to Rabbi Akiva, he was calling all the Klal Yisrael Steve, not just Moshe. He wasn't just speaking to Moshe. He was speaking to all the Klal Yisrael. The Klal Yisrael oimdim, meaning they all heard the Aseres Dibros. Why did he call only Moshe, even though everyone was there? To give cover to Moshe Rabbeinu. So that answers the question. Reb Nassim holds like Rabbi Yossi Aglili, but he doesn't hold of Prisha, guys. In other words, guys, he also Rabbi Yossi Aglili that Moshe was covered, and he went up if the Matan Torah, right? And so why was the purpose of Prisha? What was the purpose of Prisha if it wasn't for B'nichtas Kedusha, right? It was 6 days of basically making sure Moshe was anything that in his system was clean. So when Moshe went up, he was like a malach that didn't have to eat because he's going up for 40 days. Rav Masya ben Cheresh Omer, he separated from people to create fear and trepidation. By sitting alone and thinking and not having to do with people, it created a sense of awe that was roy for the physical Matan Torah. Shenemar, Ivdu as Hashem b'yira, v'gilu b'ra'ada. Serve Hashem b'yira and be happy b'ra'ada, with trembling. My v'gilu b'ra'ada, what does it mean be happy with trembling? Amar Avad bar Masna, Amar Rav, the Mokam Gila Sham Tehei Ra'ada. In the place of Gila should be Ra'ada. But my kamifli, what's the machlaikis between Rabbi Yossi Aglili and Rabbi Akiva? They argue in the following Tanai. The Tanya, guys, listen to this. B'shisha b'chodesh, on the 6th day of Sivan, nitna Torah Yisrael. That Torah was given to Yisrael. We got the Aseres Dibros. Rabbi Yossi Yoma, no. Rabbi Yossi says b'shiva boy. It was not Amad on the 6th. It was on the 7th. It wasn't on the 6th. It was on the 7th. Man the Amma b'shisha, the one who says it was given on the 6th. Guys, that's Rabbi Yossi Aglili, right? B'shisha nitna u'b'shiva Allah. It was given on 6th, and on the 7th day he went up. Manda Amar b'shiva, the one who says Rabbi Yossi was given on the 7th, b'shiva nitna u'b'shiva Allah. Dichsev vayikra Moshe b'yom hashvi. Rabbi Yossi Aglili savala ketana kama dama b'shisha b'chodesh. Rabbi Yossi Aglili holds that word like the one that says it was given on the 6th day. Nitna Torah hilkach zeha yemaisa achar Aseres Dibros. This maisa of the 6 days after was after the Aseres Dibros. It was given on the 6th. And then he waited 6 days and called on the 7th. Vayishkan kavod Hashem al hasinai. Vayechaseu onan sheshes yamim l'Moshe. Vayikra it was covered Moshe. Rabbi Yossi Aglili, right? Danan vayechasehu covered Moshe. Vayikra el Moshe b'yom hashvi. Called to Moshe on the 7th day. The kabulei shara Torah to receive the rest of the Torah, meaning the physical Torah. These al kedaitach vayishkan kavod Hashem meresh chodesh. If you're going to say that it covered him from Rosh Chodesh until Vav, vayechaseu onan lahar. And the covering is not going on Moshe, but the covering is going on the mountain. Vayikra Moshe b'yom hashvi, and he called to Moshe on the 7th day. The kibuli asara dibros, a kibulu maybe shisha. He already is mekabel on the 6th day. So what do you mean he's calling them on the 7th day to receive it? And the anon already had left on the shisha. Rabbi Akiva Savalak Rabbi Yossi Damar, the Shiva b'chodesh nitna Torah was given on the 7th day of Sivan Yisrael. Okay, now. Guys, if you do the math, right? If you do the math, you're going to start on The Torah was given on the 6 days, including from Rosh Chodesh, right? So it was given on the 7th. Go ahead to end of the month. 30 days to the end of the month is 23 days, right? 17 and 23 is 40. 40 days later is Shivas B'Tammuz. But if you can go according to Rabbi Yossi Glili, is 6 days short. What you're going to add, it's going to be not on. It's not going to be on Yud Zayin. It's going to be on Chav Gimel. You're going to 7 days plus 17 plus 6. You can add another 6 days. It's Fred the Gemara Kasha. Bishlein Rabbi Akiva, like Rabbi Akiva, who says it was the 6 days start from Rosh Chodesh and the 7th day that it was given. That's how you find out what. That's how you find that B'Shivas B'Tammuz Nishtabra Luches. Esrin v'Aboy the Sivin, the 24 days of Sivin. V'Shitza the Tammuz, the 16 days of Tammuz is 40. Molu Aboyim Yoimim. It counts the 40 days that it was on Har Sinai. Avi Bahar. U'B'Shitza B'Tammuz Nachis. He came down on the 17th. V'Osa B'Tavinu Luches. Guys, got the cheshbon? Yeah, starting from Rosh Chodesh, right? You have from the day of Matan Torah, 6 days, 24 to make the end of the month would be 30, and then you have 17 and 17 and 16, 16 and 24, and then he has one more day that he came down and broke the luchas. El Rabbi Yossi Glili Dama Shisha de Prisha Vaboyim Dahar. At Essen V'Tlas B'Tammuz Lo'yif Baluchas. The luchas weren't broken until the 23rd day of Tammuz. Right? Again, 17. Again, you're counting 6 days not from Rosh Chodesh. You're counting it from the 6th day. So Malach Rabbi Yossi Glili Arba de Chad B'Hadi Shisha de Prisha. The Aboyim is including what the 6 days of Prisha from before. Okay, so I just put look at your art scroll. If you have an art scroll, I think it's a very good summary. It's a very good summary. I'll if I find it over here, here it is. Guys, you can see it. The guys on the screen. You have it. Okay, go. So going, yeah, you guys have your Zoom. If you have an art scroll, look at an art scroll.
Take a picture.
It's take a picture. How do you take a picture? I don't know. All right.
Can you zoom out a little bit? Is this the whole thing?
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
No, what is chart?
Yeah. That chart. You want to send it to everyone, Steve?
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Steve Gell is doing it. You got it.
Sounds like it's done.
Done. Okay, you have your phone? Oh, you have an art scroll. If you have an art scroll, you don't focus. Now, let's go to the top. Is the pasuk across? So we're going to fit in each one according to now. According to Rabbi Yossi Glili, guys, let's do it without you cheating, okay? Let's see if it stims, right? From on which day? What? When did it come down upon Har Sinai? According to Rabbi Yossi Glili, so he says it came down on the 7th day of Sivan. Who did it cover? It covered Moshe, because Moshe, that's the Prisha. There he is, and the cloud covered him Moshe for 6 days. Moshe called Moshe on the 7th day, after being 6 days of being in Prisha, and then by Yom Shvi on the 7th day went up to get what? 7th day after getting the 10 commandments. After the he went to get up. Rabbi Akiva, no, it's starting from Rosh Chodesh. And Hashem rested on Rosh Chodesh, not on the 7th day of Sivan. On Rosh Chodesh he rested, right? And the cloud covered what? It didn't cover Moshe. Moshe was busy going back and forth. It covered the mountain, right? That's what he says. It covered the mountain. And on Vayikra El Moshe, he called to Moshe on the 7th day, and that's when we received the Aseres Dibris, like Rabbi Yossi. According to Rabbi Akiva, the Matan Torah is Zion, not Vav, Zion. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, good? It's a geschmacka lima. Geschmacka lima. Geschmacka, very so geschmack.
Went to a Nasa, right?
Yeah.
It says it was they cleansed up from.
So there's no Prisha. You don't want Prisha.
But you didn't need to, because you had the money. We were like Malach Shara Survey. The you didn't have problems going to the bathroom and stuff. With the money in the midbook. There was no meat, there was no issues with it made you full without having to empty out anything.
It's a good kasha.
Right? That was
It's good kasha. It's a good kasha. I'll think about it. It's a good kasha. Very good kasha. They had the mon already. When did they get the mon?
from the slug there.
Did they get the mon before Matan Torah or after Matan Torah?
Right?
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know. Matan Torah also took place in the midbar.
Before 30 days. It was 30. It was 30 days after Yetzias Mitzrayim. Matan Torah was 49. No.
I was asking a good question. It could be the Slav, and it could be any food they got for complaining. But Moshe wasn't.
He wasn't complaining, but he complained the first.
Okay. Anyway, it's a good kasha. Okay. Says let's Amamar. What does Amamar mean? We're going to go ahead and finish up the Brisa, right? Amamar. Vayikra. It says Vayikra al Moshe. Moshe v'chol Yisrael. Oimdim. It says and Moshe and all Yisrael is standing. Messiah Rabbi Elazar, Domer Rabbi Elazar. Vayikra al Moshe. Moshe v'chol Yisrael oimdim. Moshe and all Yisrael was standing. Everyone heard Matan Torah, and they only said it to give kavod to Moshe. Meisive, the pasuk says at the end of Nasai, it's the last pasuk in pasuk Parshas Nasai. By Midbar Zion, pasuk Peites. How about that? Peites. Zion, last pasuk. And when Moshe came to the Oyel Moed to speak to Hashem, Vayishma es hakoil, and he heard the koil midaber elav, speaking to him me'alak hapiris. Okay, and we're focusing on the words Vayishma es hakoil. So what does it say? Vayikol Moshe Moshe chayisod v'loiba kosev l'chalik l'kavod l'Moshe meisive kol. Now it doesn't say loy Vayishma kol. It doesn't say. It says a love. Mashma Moshe Shama v'chol Yisrael lo shamu. So how can you tell me Vayikra Moshe that everyone heard and they only gave cover to Moshe? You see from over here by the Oyel Moed that only Moshe heard. Now there's an obvious answer, guys. One is speaking about Sinai, one is speaking about Oyel Moed, different places. So it's more like Kasha, but Sinai Oyel Moed. By Sinai, everyone heard. By Oyel Moed, only Moshe heard. V'bay Sema like Kasha, ha b'kriya, ha b'dibur. There's a difference between the lashon of Vayikra and there's a difference in the lashon of Vayedaber. So when it says over here Vayikra Moshe, then Kriya everyone hears. But Vayedaber love the lashon of Vayedaber, that's only singular. It's only an individual.
Why can't it be that everyone heard the first two Aseres Dibros and only Moshe heard the last 8?
It's mashma that it started from the beginning. That they all heard, because that pasuk is going on the beginning of the Aseres Dibros. Rabbi Zvika Rami. Kroy Kami the Rebbe Lazar. Zvika threw out the following steer in front of Rebbe Lazar. Bring me to say, Rebbe Zika, Rebbe Lazar, Rami. Rebbe Lazar threw it out. Either way, Ksiv. Moshe was unable to come to the El Mayed. Because Hashem, the Onan was on top of it, he couldn't get in. Uksiv, Vayava Moshe b'seich Onan. I see. You see that Moshe did get in. So 1 second. One hand you tell me he didn't get in. Now you tell me he did get in. Kadosh Baruch Hu grabbed Moshe, right? And he brought him into what? He brought him in. Divrei Yishmael. Nema kan b'stoich. It says over here. How do you know? Toich. V'nema lahalan b'toich. Vayevo b'nei Yisrael b'sachayom. Malahalan shvil. Just like by Yayom, there was a shvil. K'dechsiv amayim lemchoima. Avkan by the Onan, there was a shvil. Now the first pasuk in Vayikra is Vayikra Moshe. Vayedaber love. Me'ol Moed Lemar. Vayikol Moshe Vayedaber Lemar Vayedaber Lama Higdim Kriya Ledibor. Why would they mock them Kriya Ledibor? Lim the Torah derech eretz. The Torah teaches us derech eretz. Shloyomer Adam double chaverai elam ken karahu. In other words, don't say something to your friend until you call him. Vayikra El Moshe. He called Moshe. Then Vayedaber. It's first he said Moshe, and then he spoke to him. That means the derech eretz. Before you speak to a person, tell the person, call him by name. HaKadosh Baruch Hu called Moshe, and then he spoke to him. Unless you call him. Then the word says Lamar. Eloil Moyed Lamar. Now, what does Lamar mean? Guys, this is the source for Lamar in the whole Torah. Lamar, Amarav. There's a Menasya by Braid, Rav Masya, Mishem, Rav Musya. Rabba, Minayin La'omer, Double Chaveroi. How do you know if your friend tells you something that you're unable to tell somebody else? Until he tells you Leich Emar. Guys, that's the nutrition of Lamar. Leich Emar. Take the words Leich and Emar, that's Lamar.
Until then, you can't open your mouth.
Right. Friend tells you something, you can't say anything. You need Rishus. You need Rishus to say something. Shenemar, Vayedaber Hashem Elav, Mi'oel Moed Lamar. Lamar, Lechemar. Okay, Lechemar. Now, I think I'm going to stop over here, but I have on the screen, I didn't print it out. I'm not good at printing out things because I don't know. I print them out and then they lay here. But I said I have a Meshech Chachma that is fantastic on the word Lamar. So let's see it. I even have it on the screen over here, so I can find which one it is. Is it this? No, it's not that. Is it this? Yes, it is. Okay, let me just get a little bigger. All right.
When Manasseh was with the poking in the eyes, was that him?
Hmm?
He didn't look at anything. Did that look at a woman? Was a story with him?
Don't know.
Looked at his eyes, I think.
Don't know. And anyway, this is by the Aseres Adibris. What does it say by Aseres Adibris? Listen to this. It says, "Vayidaber Elokim es kol advarim me'ela leimor." Right?
We don't see it. We don't see it on the screen.
You
It's
don't
not
see
up
it?
yet.
It's not up on the screen.
It is.
Nope. We got the beginning screen. It says Eliezer Stern has started screen sharing, but we don't see your port.
You still don't see it.
Nope.
You're going to see it now.
Yeah, WhatsApp.
You see it now?
You just send it to the WhatsApp.
Nope.
Oh,
I think Hashi sees it.
got to be seeing it now.
So it's everybody in New York. Thank you.
You can't see this? You see it, right?
Yeah, Valdic.
Right.
Yes, it's good. Got it.
Steve, to take a screenshot.
Why does it say by Kenny Miller remove?
No. Shrink it, Rabbi. Shrink it. Make it smaller. There you go. A little
Okay.
more.
So listen. So
Okay.
listen to this, guy. Listen to this Meshech Chachma. It's mamish. B'mei simcha is meduyak. So what does leimor mean, guys? What? Leichemar, meaning you heard something. Hashem told you something. What should you do with it? Leichemar, go tell it to somebody else. Good. Here's the pasuk before the Aseres Adibris. Vayidaber Elokim es kol advarim me'ela leimor. What's the problem? He's speaking to all the Klal Yisrael. How can you touch leimor to go say to somebody? This is not the same as the leimor in the Torah. That Hashem commanded to Moshe saying, "Masha ein ken kan shohim medaber el kol Yisrael." L'chein nira says B'mei Simcha, guys. Listen to this. K'moshe kosav Rambam Hilchos Yisodei Torah Perik Ches Shekol Ikra HaKabbalah Hu Eina Min HaMoifsim. It wasn't one of the moifsin, one of these changes of teva. Shekol amayim bitzazeh yesh bilvavoy doifik. Guys, if you anything that you saw in Mitzrayim, any moifis, even though the Egyptians could not go ahead and this, it's still not the ultimate yediyah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You kind of know he's there. I mean, you gotta be kind of foolish, but it wasn't unequivocal. But when you hear HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaking to all of Klal Yisrael, speaking to Moshe in front of everybody, that was it. That was the seminal moment in history where you knew unequivocally, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. That there was that's as I state in the Rambam. That's what the Rambam was telling us. That was the moment. That was the moment. Continues Ramei Simcha. And therefore he says, Shekol amayim mitzazeh yesh b'va b'doifi. Shaila maybe Efsha, Kishav, who knows? You guys know the Mitzrayim. Why does it say that they brought an eastern wind? They blew up the eastern wind, knocked it up. The eastern wind, or else they wouldn't have walked in. They said the eastern wind did it. Now,
He calls me psycho. And you guys call me Francis, and I'll kill you.
what is that?
This, buddy. And I don't like nobody touching my stuff.
Can you mute?
Give me hooks off.
I'm going to try.
You guys in my
The
stuff.
heck is that?
I'll kill you.
Huh?
Who is that? Who is that?
What is that? You know what that is? What is it? Why is it? It's right on my computer. You sent. If you know what it is, you sent it.
Yeah, right. I got it. I think it's the Chinese hacking our share.
Steve, why don't you put in this computer? No.
You have to find it, Rabbi.
Okay. Anyway, let's get back to Rabbi Simcha. Guys, it's a great piece. It's a great piece. What does he say? He says, "Rak mitzad sheshes meyos elef avoseinu, 600,000 of our fathers. Hema edim ne'emanim. They are truthful edim. She'egil etachlis hanavua. They reach the epitome of nevuah. V'rou kavod Hashem. V'shamu asaris hadvarim. V'hema manchile hakabala dalidar." They're the manchel. They're the Messiah of generation to generation, right? And that's what Lamar means here, guys. Ukamesh Amar, Shala vicha v'yagetcha. Ask your father, he'll tell you. V'zeh sh'amar v'yidaber l'kim es kol advarim eila Lamar. Hainu, shekol Yisrael hashoimim yomru livnehem uvnehem livnehem at eis kates hayamim matziv har Sinai v'aseres hadibros. So the Lamar here is mean to continue saying it over again and again and again and again, the Messiah generation. That's a little different, Lamar.
Wow. Isn't that the equivalent of the Rambans in Parshas Bo?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. It's a very good place. And now he continues. Kain Darish B'Yushalmi, Hach Lamar, the Az Yashir. Why does it say Az Yashir? Right? Az Yashir Yisrael, right? What does it say? Lamar, L'Doirois. The Hainu shall call Tzara Yomru Hashira Oyahalel. Any Tzara that we're saved from, what do we say? The Dairais Shira Halel.
And Az Yashir means I will sing, not that I am.
Right, future, right. It's a beautiful, beautiful Meshech Chachma. Okay. Anyway, we wish everyone a good Shabbos. Huh?